for step 40, stowing the cables. Well, this will be a relatively easy step in a sense because we're really just trying to clean everything up and get things out of the way that need to be, etc. And you can see here they're showing that the aerial is actually going to come through a hole that's over here. The motor cables need to be connected, and they kind of talk about it here as well. And then you've got the cables here, they want tied down as well, and just keep everything nice and clean. And you can see there's actually a little zip tie there so that the cable coming off the on-off switch is going to be nice and clean as well. Now, one thing to make note of, you can see that they're talking about the ESC and motor, and depending on your speed controller, it will determine which lead is positive, which one is negative. Now, in my case, because this is a Tamiya speed controller, this yellow wire is a positive, which means that the wire coming off the motor is yellow, is because that's positive. So it's going to be yellow to yellow, blue to green. So I'll set this up and we'll get this all cleaned up and ready to go. So let's get the motor wires connected. So we know that it's going to be yellow to yellow and green to blue. So those are connected. And then once that's done, you can see how they're saying this can all be sort of tied in together, the motor wires, the servo coming to the box. So if we were to, let's say, look at this, the way that they're showing it there, that it's actually coming on this side as well as the servo wire, and coming down along the back side, and this is obviously going to go into the box. So just for the purposes of right now, I know that that's going to be the steering wire, so that's going to be number one slot. And again, I'm not putting it in all the way because I don't want to connect it at this point. Let's see, let's put that down there, down there. That's going to come out of the hole from the back end. So as long as that is stretched out, you can see that that would end up sitting there like that. So that's fine. And then you can see that they're showing you tying them down. Now, a lot of the vehicles that I put together, I don't necessarily do all the tying down, and I'm not sure that I'm going to with this one either, just because. But I do know that as long as, I'm going to move that over there so that it's going to come up and up through the box. So I just want to move that out of the way, that technically we could actually zip strap all of that together right here. And that's where you maybe want to do it so that it's out of the way, because this is naturally going to be out of the way once you connect it to the receiver box. Now, I might just take a closer look at this just so you can see how it might be finished off, and then I'll come back and show you what I've done. So in the end, I actually have tied this down. I wasn't going to, but I think for the purposes of the video, I'll show you what they sort of probably had planned and how I've ended up doing it. So I'll show you in a second the box. I haven't screwed this all the way down because I don't intend on leaving it that way, but we'll see. So as you can see, the servo cable is coming out of there and around into the other side. There's your motor cables, and then here there's actually a notch in the box which gives you a place to attach one of the zip straps. So I've attached the motor wires and the speed controller wire that goes to the receiver to that spot, and then pulled and tightened it up. Now that left this wire, which is your on-off switch wire, kind of loose, and I wasn't sure where I was going to attach it. Well, decided I might as well push everything back over here, so you can see that it actually is, if I can get it, it's looped like that. But it is also attached to the motor wires because there isn't another plastic loop spot at this side to do it. So I've attached it to the motor wires and that as well. So that pretty much cleans it up. And of course you leave that out for the battery. So I've used 2 zip straps, one for the motor wires and the channel 2 ESC receiver wire, and then this one is just attached to the motor cables so that I can get it out of the way. So I think that's pretty clean. Now, just so you can see this, because I didn't tighten these down because, again, I don't want the receiver in the box yet, is really why I didn't want to do this step exactly at this point, but that's okay. So as you can see, you want all your cables over on this side so that it'll fit through the hole, and then you're going to attach that so that it's covered. But again, I'm not going to do any more to that because I don't want the receiver in. I've got something else I'm working on and I want that receiver out. So anyways, that is how that would look. So really this is just cleaning up the cables and attaching the motor. So 40 is complete. So we can now move on to 41, and we're going to attach the bumpers.